All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're breaking down the HastingsNow.com publication, Local 10, Hastings School Supplies, Jobs, and August signups. The goal here is to create a gorgeous, factual breakdown that all you local residents are absolutely going to love. If you're trying to navigate the end of summer around here, you know exactly how chaotic it gets, right? Schedules are totally shifting, and suddenly deadlines are right on top of us. So today, we're cutting through all that noise to give you exactly what you need to know to get your family organized for the fall.
But, before we hit those hard deadlines, let's quickly set the stage with the weather. Monday, August 10th is bringing us a really warm, fairly calm day here in Hastings. We're looking at a high near 84 degrees once that patchy morning fog burns off, probably around 9 a.m. It's going to be partly sunny out there. And then heading into Monday night, temps will drop down to a comfortable 64 degrees with just a super slight 20% chance of rain developing overnight, mostly after 3 a.m. Honestly, it's a beautiful start to a very busy week. So here's our agenda for today's explainer. First up, urgent deadlines. Second, jobs and community events. Third, fall youth activities. And finally, submitting your local updates.
Moving right into Section 1, urgent deadlines and this week's timeline.
Looking at the week ahead, wow, it is a packed 4 days. As you can see, we've got a really rapid progression here, going from today's initial practices straight through to midweek hiring events and wrapping up with some great community gatherings. Now, listen, if you only do one thing after watching this, Hastings now stresses one massive priority. Start with Hastings Family Services School Supply Donation page. Seriously, this is the absolute top item you need to check off your list right now. Here's the deal. You have until 4 p.m. this Tuesday, August 11th, to drop off new school supplies for ISD 200 students. The collection period closes right after that, no exceptions. You can drop off your donations over at their 301 2nd Street East location. They're open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on both Monday and Tuesday. So if you have the means to do so, please make helping out these local kids your #1 priority today. Okay, on to Section 2, jobs and community events. Let's look at some cool ways to get involved this week. For those of you seeking some fall employment, Afton Apple Orchard is definitely gearing up for their busy season. They're actively looking to hire for several fall seasonal positions right this minute. And what's really notable here is that the orchard specifically states they are especially looking for adults to fill these roles. Now, if you're interested, you don't want to just, send a random email into the void. You really need to make sure you attend their in-person apply and interview event. It's happening this Wednesday evening, August 12th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. over at their 14421 South 90th Street location right here in Hastings. There actually isn't an established application deadline beyond the specific event, so showing up on Wednesday, yeah, that's highly, highly recommended. And hey, when it's time to just relax, Hastings has some fantastic free events on the horizon for us. Definitely mark your calendars for this Thursday, August 13th, for the Music Plus Market down at Levy Park. That runs from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Indigo Moon is going to be headlining with some great indie music, and you can also expect a whole makers market, a bunch of food trucks, and a kids zone. Then, looking just a little bit further ahead to next Tuesday, August 18th, Creme de la Creme and the Hastings Police Department are teaming up to host Cones for Cops downtown from 4 to 6 p.m. It's just a really great, totally free opportunity to meet our local officers in a laid-back community setting. Moving right along to Section 3, Fall Youth Activities. It's actually pretty incredible to see the sheer variety of youth programs gearing up for the fall. But parents, you've really got to pay close attention to the eligibility here. For instance, Hastings Community Education is hosting a Dragon Scales and Sparks Art Camp from August 17th through the 20th, and that's for grades 1 through 5. They also have an Intro to Computer Science with Python class on August 21st for grades 4 through 8. Both of those are at the Tilden Community Center. Eligibility literally is the key variable here, so knowing exactly where your child's age group fits is honestly half the battle. Now, for anyone interested in the Hastings Community Education Bowling Program, the registration fee is just a flat $50. But the absolute deadline to get that paid is Friday, August 28th at 4 p.m. And a quick heads up, practices actually start today, August 10th. They practice on Mondays and Wednesdays over in Inver Grove Heights. Students in grades 7 through 12 get to fully compete, while 5th and 6th graders can join the practices, but they don't actually compete in the matches.
Okay, if you have a dancer in pre-K through 6th grade, the Mini Raider Dance Camp is happening on Saturday, October 3rd. And the best part? It leads up to this fantastic halftime performance at the varsity football game on October 8th.
If you want to save a little bit of money on this, and who doesn't, make sure to lock in that early bird pricing of $65 through August 21st, because if you miss that window, standard registration jumps right up to $80.
Let's wrap up our youth sports coverage by looking at just a few final opportunities happening on the ice, on the pitch, and on the wrestling mat. First off, registration is officially open for Riverbladed's fall skating over at the Hastings Civic Arena. Those Saturday classes run from October 10th all the way through December 19th, and they cover everything from learn to skate and figure skating right up to hockey skill levels. Just be sure to check their fall program page for the specific age and skill requirements. Next, the Hastings-based United Heroes League and Minnesota United FC are holding a totally free soccer clinic on Wednesday, August 26 at the Highwood Hills Recreation Center in St. Paul. Now, this one is specifically for military kids ages 7 to 18. Space is pretty limited there, so definitely apply soon if you're eligible. And lastly, the Hastings Wrestling Club is actively looking for 2 compensated head youth coaches. They need one for pre-K through 8th grade and a separate girls coach for pre-K through 6th grade. The compensation is negotiable, so if you've got the experience, you should absolutely look into those postings today. All right, final section, Section 4, submitting your local updates. Have you ever actually wondered how all this information gets sourced in the first place? So Hastings now uses this neat system called Local Pigeon. Local businesses, organizations, and regular residents can actually submit their updates right there. But, not everything makes the cut. Items are selected based strictly on a few core criteria: usefulness, timing, local relevance, source diversity, and overall public value. And it is absolutely vital to note that inclusion in the Local 10 is not paid placement. This is huge because it ensures that what you're reading and hearing remains a free, genuinely community-driven resource, completely focused on what actually matters most to Hastings residents. Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. With summer winding down and fall schedules filling up incredibly fast, how are you going to take advantage of everything Hastings has to offer before these critical August deadlines pass you by? I mean, whether it's grabbing that early bird dance discount, dropping off those much-needed school supplies tomorrow, or planning for that orchard job on Wednesday, the time to act is right now. Thanks so much for joining me as we walked through these updates, and I will see you in the next explainer.